Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome. Happy Sunday. My name is Renée Ambarees Isermann and I say welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. And today it's a very special show and I have a very special guest. And if you are new here and you are interested how to get back in paradise and you want to learn more about why your smile is the key, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm your host, I'm Renée Ambarees. I'm here every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And yes, so the year's going by very quick and Christmas time can be something else. When I look back, Christmas was never my go-to time. And so it's about relationships. And relationships is always starting with ourselves. And it shows up in our eating disorders. So this show is all about emotional and understanding your habits about the eating part. So, and I have a very special guest today, and I'm so excited. It's Dr. Nina Savelle-Rocklin. She is a psychoanalyst. She is an author. She is international, really expert when it comes to emotional eating disorders. And she is having her own method we are talking about today. And now I want to welcome Dr. Nina. Welcome on my stage.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Good to see you, Renee.
So the world is coming together. Today I'm hosting the show from the Dominican Republic. I know you are in LA, also a very nice place. And yeah, it's an important topic. We want to bring light in. We want to help to give you some solutions also today. And so eating disorder is something that is very big in my life because I was 22 years a professional athlete. My mother was putting me on a diet, so I know a lot about diets. And so, but your story, and for me, you are the role model, started, I think, much earlier. And I want to know all about that we inspire people. So I give you the stage. Let's dive in.
Okay, so my story, when I was a brand new therapist and I was about to start my very first group for women with binge eating disorder, I walked into the room and this group of women looked me up and down. And one of them, remember, I'm a brand new therapist and they were much older than I was. And this one woman, she was in her 50s, which at the time seemed very old, not so much anymore. And she had like bright red hair and like a big necklace. She was super intimidating. She looked me up and down and she said, "So what does a skinny bitch like you know about binge eating disorder?" And I said, well, first, she didn't know that I once considered myself the poster child for eating disorders. But what I said was, this skinny bitch once scarfed down an entire box of gingerbread cookies in about 15 minutes flat. And I hate gingerbread, still hate gingerbread, but I couldn't stop eating those cookies. So I told the group that when I was 5 years old, I came to believe that if I were thinner, I would somehow be better. And that was the beginning of my obsession with my weight and with food. And when I look at my teenage journals, every page is full of numbers, calories I ate, calories I burned, the weight I was going to be one day when the diet was successful. And I was always on some crazy restrictive diet. Eventually, my willpower would fail, because it always does, and I would eat the kitchen. Sometimes I would purge. That's why I was the poster child for eating disorders. I had all of them. So finally, in college, I go to therapy, but I go for anxiety. So I talked about guys and goals and dreams and my family and my family and my family. And I was open with my therapist about every part of my life except one. I never told her what was going on with food, because I was so ashamed of what I was doing. I was mortified. So nobody knew the truth. But by the time I left therapy, all my eating disorder behaviors were gone. And not once, not a single time, had I ever talked about food. And people say, how is that possible? How do you get rid of all eating disorders without ever talking about food? And it's because I learned that food wasn't actually the problem. It was the solution, a bad solution, but a solution to the real problem, which was how harsh and critical I was to myself. And I was often turning to food just to escape my own mean voice. So I stopped being the poster child for eating disorders, because I fundamentally changed my relationship with myself and therefore the world. And I did it by implementing some of the strategies that I'm going to talk with you today. And by the way, why at age 5? Why at age 5 did I suddenly decide that I was too big? And I was a perfectly normal weight child. Well, my parents were college professors. They were very academic. And I was, of course, me, and I was not this quiet academic 5-year-old. And I was always getting the message. They would say things like, you're so dramatic, you're too emotional, you're too sensitive. This was the message I got all the time. And the message was like, you're too much to handle. And my 5-year-old mind took that literally. On some level, I thought if there were less of me, maybe I would be more lovable. So this points to the importance of psychology when it comes to overcoming food issues. And I became a therapist, a psychoanalyst, because I want to help other people stop the obsession and the madness, which it is possible. You don't have to be in recovery. You can actually liberate yourself from food issues forever. That is possible.
So, and yeah, everything is possible. And what I really love, I mean, you are just like the role model really to bring inspiration, and you're showing up for where the work has to get done. So I'm all about the beauty, because I was never the beauty girl, and I always wanted to be just like the cover girl and all the stuff. So and this is where our real life wisdom is coming from, our journeys. And this is what it's so beautiful. And really listen to people, they experience that they were going the whole way through, that you don't find just things from books, like real experience. And so there are a lot of things, like we talk about the method you were creating to help, but there are also there are times during the day where we are more in danger to have the eating problems.
Yeah, well, one time particularly, which is nighttime. Yeah, which I'm happy to speak to.
Yeah, of course. Yes, nighttime. It's important, because especially yet from the holidays. So that's an important thing, how to deal with when we have all the emotions and the relationship, maybe also with the parents, with the kids, with the family, our insecurities. So we are trying the whole day. So maybe you have also some tips. That's the nighttime thing, I think, is an important thing to share, especially to this day.
Most people come to me and they say, I'm fine during the day, totally fine, but at night, and they'll say, it's after dinner, I'm not hungry, but I can't stay out of the kitchen. And that's because during the day, we are busy. We're working, we're taking care of kids, we're working and taking care of kids. We're busy doing whatever. I mean, maybe there are no kids involved, but you're busy, you're occupied. And at night is when things slow down. And that is when thoughts and feelings might become available to you that you don't want. So we bypass them. And I actually have a really good example of how this happened. This woman I called Jenna, not her real name, but she came to me and she said, hey, Dr. Nina, maybe your other people struggle with emotional eating, but she said she was a food addict and that she could prove it. And she knew that I did not believe in food addiction, but she was pretty sure she had the evidence of food addiction. And it was a nighttime eating situation. So she told me that she had been, relaxing and chilling and, Netflix and chilling and watching TV. Nothing was going on in her life. Nothing was bothering her. But all of a sudden, Ben & Jerry's was calling her name. And the way she put it was, calling my name. I'm addicted to Chunky Monkey. I said, well, let's wait, not so fast. What were you watching on TV before Ben & Jerry's started calling your name? And she tells me it is Charmed, her favorite show. So since she was doing something she enjoyed, watching Charmed, her favorite guilty pleasure TV show, there was no reason, or so she thought, that she would want to down a pint of ice cream, and that was just getting started on her binging. What was the episode about? Oh, it's when this demon comes down, breaks the bond between the sisters, they start fighting, everything gets really nasty and contentious and awful. Now, I know that Jenna had or still has actually, a terrible relationship with her sister. And all I said was, oh, sisters fighting, huh? And that's when Jenna went, oh my God. And she got it because she realized watching the show activated her own feelings about her own sister. But before she was consciously aware, this is important, before she was consciously aware that she was being activated and triggered, she went to ice cream for comfort and distraction. If we had just been like, well, when ice cream calls your name, Jenna, brush your teeth, write in your journal, take a walk, take a bubble bath, nothing would have helped because none of those things were a solution to her real issue. The real problem was not Ben & Jerry's. The real problem was her difficulty recognizing, acknowledging, and being able to process her feelings about her sister. And so when we worked on that, guess what? Ice cream stopped calling her name. So this is nighttime is when these things happen, when often we use food or thoughts of food to distract ourselves, whether we're getting activated or triggered or not. We use food to distract ourselves from things that are uncomfortable. We use it to cope, to comfort, to escape, to many different things. And so that is why nighttime is such a hard problem for people who struggle with food.
So true. And the story is really amazing. And I mean, you have so many clients all over the world. You were guiding through a really clear protocol and method. Mm-hmm. And so maybe when people are listening, so if you listen and you feel like, okay, maybe that's me, maybe even like a little bit. So also you are invited to write questions so we can answer them and engage. So you have a chance to talk to Nina in real time now, but also later we were going over the thing. So what are the first steps if people now just like see, oh, okay, I know every evening I'm going to the refrigerator before I go to bed. So what is the first thing?
The first step is really you have to stop dieting because dieting keeps you focused on food. Dieting keeps you focused on what you are eating and not why. So also dieting is about restriction and the anticipation of deprivation of something or the experience of deprivation only makes you want it more. If I tell you not to think about a pink hippopotamus, Guess what just popped into your mind? A pink hippopotamus, most likely. So when that is human psychology. When we're told we can't have something, even when we're telling it to ourselves, even when we know we don't want it logically, psychologically, because it's not logical, it's psychological. Psychologically, we want what we can't have. So that's why diets don't work. And also the diet industry, a $60 billion industry, billion with a B, is very invested in having us keep dieting. That's why there's always some new diet that's coming out, some new products, some new diets, some new surgery, some new injection, whatever it is. There's always something new coming out that has to do with focusing on what you're eating, how much, and all of that. And the problem when it comes to binge eating, which is the most prevalent eating disorder that most people don't know they have, which I can speak to that just a little bit. They think they have no control. They think they have no willpower. Actually, they have a diagnosable, treatable condition that you can liberate yourself from. So the first step is absolutely to take your focus not on what you are eating, which is dieting, but why.
Yes, and I think a very dark number is the guilt and shame part, because a lot of women I know, they're really thinking it's about the discipline. And you mentioned like the willpower. The willpower is nice to have. You have to do a lot of exercise. And then there's the moment when you just break, because it's not a natural coming from the inside. It's just like a construct you were building over time, right?
Well, willpower is part of the diet culture. Diet culture says, hey, willpower, eat this, not that, have the strength, have the willpower, have the control, and it focuses on food. Diets cannot tell you why you are eating. So what do? If, like Jenna, you just are on autopilot and you go towards the kitchen at night or anytime and you check in with yourself, and people will also tell me all the time, they'll say, I nothing is bothering me. I'm not eating emotionally. And there's this idea that eating emotionally means like you're Chandler on Friends and what's her name just broke up with you and you're crying into your ice cream and eating ice cream. That's not emotional eating. Emotional eating is anytime you are eating to change the way you emotionally feel. It doesn't mean you're sad and you're eating ice cream. It means you're eating as a way of changing your state. But what do you do when you go so quick, you bypass that reason? It's out of your awareness, but it is not out of operation. Well, this is where my food mood formula comes in, which is part of my binge cure method, which you can read about in my book, The Binge Cure, or my other book, Beyond Binge Eating. So actually what you are eating gives a clue as to why you are turning to that food. So if you're like Jenna and you're, I love it. If you're like Jenna and ice cream is your thing, then that's smooth and creamy. Foods that are smooth and creamy, like ice cream, like yogurt, like some people are like smooth and creamy peanut butter or Nutella. They're just that's their go-to food. That is associated with a need for comfort. So if that's your go-to food, think about other ways that you can comfort yourself, which I do teach in my books and in my programs, that don't involve eating. Another type of food that people are drawn to are filling foods. So if it's bread, muffins, cake, pizza, pasta, anything that takes up space within us, those are associated with loneliness or filling a void. So if those are your go-to foods, you want to consider, and this is hard, by the way, it's a lot easier to focus on food, but if those filling foods are your go-to foods, consider the empty spaces in your life, right? What are they? And find different ways to fill them. Crunchy, if it's all about the tortilla chips and the potato chips and the pretzels and all of that, and maybe you've tried crunching on carrot sticks, but it just doesn't work as well. Of course not. Anything that makes you bite down with a crunch, that is associated with forms of anger. So forms of anger can be irritation, frustration, annoyance, rage. And women especially are taught not to be angry. Somehow that's not ladylike. It's not nice. Don't be angry. So we often stuff down our anger, but we take it out on ourselves. We get very mad at ourselves for what we eat or what we weigh. Well, if those crunchy foods are your go-to, think about, who would you be mad? Who or what would you be upset with, angry with, if you weren't being mad at yourself for what you ate? And then there's the, what about chocolate? Well, chocolate actually goes into those categories because you have chocolates with a creamy filling, which would be comfort. You have chocolates with nuts, which would be crunchy, which would be forms of anger. And if those don't fit, or it's chocolate is not your thing and you like Skittles or something, consider maybe you need more sweetness in your life. Not the sweetness that comes from candy, but the sweetness of love, fulfillment, connection, meaning, purpose, all of those kinds of things. So that is a food mood formula. It only applies to those situations where you are eating to change the way you emotionally feel. And I also just want to say one thing about the words I'm using, because some people will say, oh, I totally binged. I ate 4 cookies. That's not a binge. I totally binged. I ate 40 cookies. That's a binge. So emotional eating is when you're eating to change the way you emotionally feel. All binge eating is emotional eating, but not all emotional eating is binge eating. So, if you had 4 cookies, is it because you were on a diet and you haven't been allowing yourself to eat cookies? And of course, deprivation leads to wanting more. That's not necessarily emotional eating. That's deprivation. Are you eating because you want to make yourself feel better? That's emotional eating. Are you binging on 40 cookies? That's binge eating. That's an eating disorder. It's a way of using food to cope, to distract, to cope, to, fill a void, comfort. If you're eating so much that you're in physical pain, maybe you're turning emotional pain into physical pain. There's always a reason. Be curious about what that is. In fact, be curious, not critical. My cup says be curious, not critical. I say it so much that someone asked me to have some cups made. So I did. But that's just a philosophy that you can use, that you can really take in and change the way you're thinking about what you're eating. Don't focus on what you're eating. Focus on why. I like to say why power, not willpower.
That's amazing. The why power. And I like to mention something, because that is interesting, that you can even pointing out just like what is your eating go-to. It's connected, and you have so much experience in this field. So that's over the top. What I really know, just like even like we women, when we are not expressing what's really inside, I mean, this is sticking also in our system. So then the double chin is coming and other things. So just like it's stucking. So it's so important. And this is now, I really would like to talk about your method, so that we get some, what easy steps can we get the audience today?
So first part of my method, and again, I talk about it in my books and really go into depth in my programs. But first step is you got to stop dieting. Absolutely stop dieting. The next step, and so we've already been talking about some of the method, which is to think and use why power. I'm heading to the kitchen. Why? What's going on with me? And if you have no idea, use the food mood formula to figure it out. Am I heading for the creamy foods? Maybe I need comfort. Am I going for the bread or the cake or the pizza or whatever? What's missing in my life? What am I feeling lonely? Am I feeling empty? Am I feeling even bored? What's going on with me? Is it crunchy? Is it sweet? So use the food mood formula. And then you've got to learn how to express yourself, right? Express those feelings, which our culture says, hey, don't express your feelings. If you're angry, you need an anger management class, right? If you're sad, oh, well, maybe you're depressed, you need a pill. If you're anxious, maybe you need a pill for that too. And of course, some people can benefit from medication. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how we pathologize basic human emotions that are just responses to situations, and we make them into something scary and bad. And so nobody knows how to express those feelings. And the first part of that is, well, name it. Oh, I am experiencing some anger right now. I'm experiencing this. And then because of that, I'm experiencing some frustration because that person cut me off on the freeway. And just to name it is a good first step. And then you can go on towards expressing what you are feeling. We'll use anger. I'm frustrated because of this. I'm resentful. I am angry. I'm enraged. I'm whatever it is. It's got to come out about what's going on in your life, whether that is anger, like what I'm saying, or sadness, or helplessness, or shame, or anxiety, or anything it is. First, you have to name it and then start expressing it. And expressing it is the scary part, because our culture says two things. One, don't feel feelings. Feelings are weak. Feelings are weak. They're bad. Don't do that. You're strong if you don't have feelings, and you're weak if you do. Actually, it takes a lot more strength to experience your feelings than it does to push them away. So identify and start to express your feelings. But our culture also says, just feel your feelings, just sit through them. Well, guess what? You can't sit through your feelings any more than you can ignore them, positive think them away, drop them, or gratitude them away, or stuff them down. You cannot sit through your feelings. You have to express them. And so this is something that I teach people to do in my programs. It sounds so simple. How do you feel feelings? Well, if you've never been taught how to feel feelings, then it becomes very scary and daunting. But there is a method in this method on how do you feel feelings. And then it's really important. So the next step is learn how to respond to yourself. Now, another patient, I'll call her Becca. Again, not her real name. Every day she would get up, she would look in the bathroom mirror, and she would say to her reflection, "You're disgusting. You're disgusting." And I said to her, well, why don't you say that again, but say it from an I place? Because who's talking? Who's talking? You? What are you saying you to yourself? Say, I'm disgusting. And she's like, I'm, and she couldn't do it. She just got totally stuck. And she's like, it seems so harsh. I don't want to say that to myself. So isn't that interesting? When we speak to ourselves in second person, we can be really mean. And then, as what was my experience that I shared earlier, you can turn to food just to get away from your own mean voice. So one way to deal with that inner critic, which shoots you down and makes you want to run to the kitchen or pick up DoorDash, is really watch the way you speak to yourself, and speak to yourself from an I place instead of, even if you're encouraging yourself, instead of, oh, you can do this, which is sort of experience distant. It doesn't feel very good. It feels sort of cerebral. If you say, I can do this, I can do this, it's so much more powerful. So if you ever say anything to yourself, like, you're going to fail, you can't do it, they don't like you, that's your inner critic talking. It's going to make you feel bad. It's going to make you want to turn to food. Instead, say, I've got this. What do I think of them? Not what do they think of me? I can do this. I'm gonna be encouraging of myself. Now, most people actually have a language for this. They just use it for everybody else. I'll say to someone after they tell me they ate, a whole pizza the night before, and oh, they're horrible. They have no willpower. They're awful. This will never change, and they're disgusting. I'll say, okay, now imagine your friend just ate a whole pizza and came to you and said, oh, I ate the whole pizza. Would you say to your friend, oh my God, you're disgusting. That is so gross. You're never going to change. Blah, 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 blah. No, you would say, then it'd be like, no, I'd say like, oh, well, let's try to understand why. Where's that for you? So it's like you have a way, if you're nice to other people, which probably if you're watching this, I'm going to guess you're nice to other people. Why don't you treat yourself the same way you treat other people instead of being so critical, so caustic, so mean?
I have two questions, two things they are really on my heart. First of all, for me, the mirror work that was a very secret. I like to invite and to share. Just like whatever you tell yourself, you look yourself in the mirror in your eyes and just like say it again, because we are the most critical humans, specifically women. And so what I figured out the time I was overweight and not happy and not the beauty queen, the mirror was helping me a lot, just like becoming a new self-awareness and becoming gentle and just like look myself in the eyes and just like I was crying so much of release what is going on. And sometimes I had to learn speaking a long way. So expressing my emotions, even allowing to say what I want, that was something that took me like 30 years from then to now. And I know it's not, our emotions are our teachers. This is what I think. And this is why I like your work so much. So what is your thoughts? You are now Christmas time, conversations are coming up and you just like feel like it's coming up and it's not allowed and you just like, so it's sticking. So how you get your first steps to express your emotions in a healthy way in those things, in those fields?
Okay, so first, when I say express, a lot of times people will say, well, does that mean I can't say that to my father or my sister or I can't say that. I'm like, no, you don't have to express yourself to somebody else. You have to express it for yourself. So if you're going to holiday dinner and you know that your family's going to look you up and down and look at everything that you're eating on your plate and think they're critical thoughts, or that's what you think at least, first be an observer. Instead of what are they thinking of me, think, what do I think of them? Like eyes out instead of eyes on you. If you imagine there's this big spotlight on you, move it on to them, because when you are the observer, you don't feel so self-conscious and under observation. If you notice that someone is saying something nasty or giving you a look, or even saying, oh, you're eating that, and these are things people tell me that their family actually says, like horrible things, like, oh, you're having another piece. Do you think you should have that? Do you really need that? I mean, people say this. First of all, it's just a waste of time, probably, expressing yourself to that person. You have to express it for yourself later. Maybe you wait to get home, or maybe you excuse yourself and you go to the bathroom and you type into your phone app or something, or you call someone, or you message someone, or whatever. But it doesn't have to be towards that person. What you do have to do is create some boundaries, and there are some comebacks that you can use. If someone says something, you can either use humor. Yeah, yes, indeed, I am having another piece. Your eyesight is amazing. Or you can just say, we're not talking about what I'm eating. You could just be very, just like, I'm not talking about what I'm eating. Or you can say, when you make those comments, that makes me feel bad, and I'd appreciate it if you don't. I mean, they're just different they're different strategies that you can employ in the moment. But you're not going to say to somebody, hey, I want you to know that when you shame me about what I'm eating, it really go into a whole thing. And I'm very angry with you and I'm very upset with you. They're not going to go like, oh my God, I've upset you. I am so sorry. I will never do it again. That will not happen. And if it does, that's 1 in a million. Go buy a lottery ticket, because but protect yourself is the point. Go in prepared with certain strategies of protecting yourself if you encounter people, or if they don't say anything and they just look at your plate and look at you, you can look at them and say, is there something you want to say to me? Like, take charge instead of being so scared. So that's a really important thing to do at holiday meals. And then later, when you get home, write in your journal, call a friend, express it just for yourself, because expressing does not have to be challenging someone. If your boss is on your last nerve, you are not going to go up to your boss and say, look, you are on my last nerve. You really piss me off on a daily basis. No, you're going to get fired. But you can think that, you can express it for yourself. So expressing feelings does not need to be to the person who's upsetting you. You could be upset about things you have no control over. You can be upset that someone has an illness, or the political situation, or something you have absolutely no control over. You still have to express it for yourself.
Yeah. So what I love, you have a clear structure, how to make the next steps. So my next step here, because the time is going by so quick, is it's my magic tool, my personal magic tool, because I know all those situations, and it's just like, if you have no idea, go 5 minutes on the toilet, not to throw up, but it's just like to center yourself, to have a safe place. And so what my game changer, and I studied the last 35 years, is a smile. And so we're going to do the smile exercise with a special music I want to introduce you to. If you're new here, so we have in German, Walter Rieske, he is having the Genesis Pro-Life technique, and that is now infused, this is infusing the music instruments. So we have, maybe we can have the first graphic. So I will talk a little bit about the music, why this is so special, and maybe why this can be a game changer also for the holiday season. So Sound of Genesis. So your body is over 70 plus water. So, and to inform water, Emoto was showing us that the music, the words, whatever you do, it's just like informing it. Water is just like it carries everything. So this music is specific to harmonize your system, to raise your frequency and your energy. And not only for you, but also for your living rooms, for your home and your house. And so I give you the next picture to give you an idea. Water, 75% or 70 plus, it's in your system. So the normal water is looking like this. And now it depends on if you have a handy, if you have stress, if you have heavy metal, if you whatever, this is doing something. And when you just listen to this music, 15 minutes, it's a total game changer. So can you show me the other picture? So this is then harmonizing. Everything is blooming. So imagine you feel low and you try to grab also the chocolate, other things. Maybe this can be the easy game changer when no therapist or a book is available, that you have this in your pocket. And we have another magic tool, that's the smile stick. So we need a pen. So I invite you, we are going to make the 60-second exercise together with the music. I will not talk during this exercise, but I will guide you how you can use your hands, maybe where to focus on. So we are going to do the pen between our teeth. So foot on the floor, feel sit bones, feel the crown, and breathe to your nose. The tongue is relaxed, your forehead is relaxed, everything is just like relaxed. You do nothing, then just like the pen is working for you. And I'll give you later a little bit more ideas. So I'm looking forward to have the music. We're starting, and So, and now, just like because we're always so quick, 1 second, just keep everything in and connect to your body system. Feel the shift, what's going on? Do you feel changes? How does your forehead feel? How's the breast going? Do you feel the cheekbones? And so 60 seconds. I say it's a game changer. This is the quick shortcut to heaven and the up spiral. Dr. Nina, let us know how was it for you today? I know you know my exercises and the stuff, but just like
yeah,
share.
It's weirdly relaxing. Yeah, I can kind of feel my face tingling. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So that's the magic without words. You just need a pen. You can find the music on my website. We will connect this in the comments also. And if you like it, you can buy it, and we are planting a tree. So we still rebuilding paradise, because I believe, yes, we need the plants, but we need your smile. I am going for 1 billion smiles the next year, because this is raising our frequency. And this is where inner peace is starting for me in an easy way. So we are now over time. I thank you so much, Dr. Nina. Is there one last sentence you want to share?
I just want to say that a lot of people I treat have struggled for decades, literally decades, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years. And no matter how long you've struggled with food, there is always hope. There is hope for change. You just need the right guidance, and you can really liberate yourself from emotional eating, binge eating for good.
Awesome. So we have 2 experts. So if you really just want to become free in the eating part, Dr. Nina is definitely the go-to. If you just struggle with your beauty and you want to have a natural radiance, just reach out. We're always available. Also, just consultation, go on our website. I wish you now great holidays. Take care. Keep smiling, and let's change the world with our smiles. Mwah.
Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Which of these 5 statements sounds mostly like you? 1. I often wake up in the middle of the night worrying about my future. 2. I'm angry or resentful towards a specific person. 3. I have anxious, obsessive, compulsive thoughts throughout the day. 4. I have an addiction like smoking, drinking, shopping, sugar, or social media. And 5. I feel that I'm wasting away my life. Hello, I'm Dr. Alkistis Agio, and for over 25 years, I've been coaching and training people from all over the world to transform their fears, insecurities, anxiety, and anger into mental and emotional freedom. I'm confident that my simple 3-step method based on Greek philosophy can help you to transform into the joyful, confident, free human being that you deserve to be. I want to invite you to join my weekly online coaching group to finally get the results that you want. Look, you've tried it alone so far and you've had some okay results, but let's face it, you're still feeling stuck right now, spinning your wheels. Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now, unless you realize this as a fact, that you are a prisoner of your own mind, you can't move forward. I'm here to support you, as well as the whole community that we are co-creating. Stop feeling stuck. Stop feeling depressed. You don't have to do it alone, and alone isn't working anyway. Sign up today and I'll meet you on the inside of our amazing weekly group call. I guarantee that you'll make progress from the very first session.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.